before you add 2 rows of the post table and 1004 rows inspected on the access table and 564 on the blog table. So there was a change here, mainly in the blog table and post table. So this is good, and this is the evidence that you need to confirm that there was a really good effort of optimization.
Can you feel it wrapped around your
But you may wonder, how can I be certain if this optimization really works for your database tables? You need to do some tests to figure the details of the query before and after the optimization. So you can compare what happened and conclude if there was really a progress. To figure what is the exact state of the database tables in terms of indexes and maybe other aspects that may need to be optimized, you can use the explain command. So here I'm back to the terminal console to execute a specific query. So it's the same query that we want to optimize, but you need to proceed with explain SQL command. This SQL command is specific to MySQL database. It's not standard. You can use it to analyze the query. So it can tell you details about how the database server will perform this query. Once you execute this command, you will get a table with the results. It's not a real database table, just a way to format the result of this analysis that the MySQL database server performs. You can see several columns and several rows. Each row is the information about each table that is used in the query. So we have 3 tables: blog, post, and access. So when you execute this query, these tables are inspected. And also you have other aspects as columns that show you the details of how each table was inspected. So here you have in this column possible keys is the database server indexes that already exists. Indexes or keys, I mean the primary keys, and and you can take a look, and it shows exactly the keys that exist. In the key column, it shows the keys that were really used to perform this query. So we have possible keys and real keys that were used. Here you can evaluate the potential of optimization that was used or not. And next, you have another column that says the table columns that were used in the query that was used as reference to perform joins. Then you have an important column that says rows. This is the number of database table rows that were performed that were inspected in the query for each table that is used. So for the blog table, you can see 564 rows were inspected, and then 2 rows for the post table and 1004 rows for the access table. Finally, you have another column called extra, and this column shows if the indexes were used or not and how. You don't need to really understand this when you use a tool like as a SQL optimizer of EverSQL, because it will do the work of analysis. Next, you really going to perform the suggested alterations in a previous step. So you have here the SQL queries, and here you have some commands to perform the table alterations. Now you are going to do a final step, which is to evaluate the result of the optimization. Again, you use the explain command using the same query, and then you have another table which is similar to the other one. The difference is what happens after the optimization. Again, the most important column is here, the rows. The rows tell you how many database table rows were inspected. So if all goes well in the optimization effort, the number of rows was minimized. So as you may see here, the post and blog tables had only one row inspected. Before you had 2 rows of the post table and 1,004 rows inspected on the access table and 564 on the blog table. So there was a change here, mainly in the blog table and post table. So this is good, and this is the evidence that you need to confirm that there was a really good effort of optimization. Maybe you can optimize further, but for now, what is important is to show you that this really works. Well, with this, I conclude this episode. I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you have learned something that is useful for you. And if you find it useful, go ahead, share with your colleagues. I'm sure they will love you if you share knowledge that you consider valuable to you. And if you do that, they will certainly love you more. And maybe they rewarded is something that you like. Well, with this, I conclude this recording of the podcast. I hope it was useful, and I hope to see you on the next episode of the Lately in PHP podcast. That's all for now. Bye.
Can you feel it wrapped around your soul?